Before the COVID-19 pandemic, the United States economy was strong and experienced growth, with the low unemployment rates and a booming stock of market. The pandemic struck in early 2020, causing significant disruption to various sectors of the economy, including healthcare, education, and travel. The federal government and the Federal Reserve took several measures to support the economy during this period, such as implementing fiscal policy that focus on tax reforms, infrastructure investment, and social. Also, monetary policy measures and providing financial aid to households and businesses.
Job training programs are essential in tackling this problem because they give people the abilities and resources to look for new jobs. The WOR program. You must be wondering, why is that right? It is the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act known as WOR Workforce programs established with bipartisan support in 2014. The WOR aims to better match businesses with the skilled labor force that is essential for expansion. Among these actions are preserving the power of local government while allowing for more flexibility to accommodate employers and job seekers' needs. Secondly, lowering the necessary member count while preserving a business-led majority on the workforce development boards. Thirdly, establish a single set of shared performance indicators for all of the main initiatives and include a metric for how well businesses are served. Next, removing the need for a sitting order of services and including industry, relationships, and career routes as best practices. Lastly, concentrating youth services on unconnected and out-of-school teenagers means 16 to 24 years old.
Workforce Solution established a phone system and a COVID-19 resources page at the start of the epidemic. They are currently working on a new tech hub that will be user-friendly on mobile device. People can provide basic information about themselves and the services they're searching for, such as training or employment at this portal. A tool that recommends job and training programs based on a user's interest and skill set is connected to the hub. Additionally, job searchers have the option to get updates and even notification by text messaging. They create this method since at the moment they only gather information on a limited number of job seekers who enlist is in more comprehensive services. To better assist a wider spectrum of job searchers, it is intended to gain an understanding of all users of the service, including those who use the hub remotely.
However, in late 2021, the job market got better and the unemployment rate dropped to 4.2%. Although it had not fully recovered, federal relief, economic reopening, and virus control measures helped create more jobs. This improvement brought unemployment rates closer to what they were before the pandemic for different groups of people. The lasting effect of the pandemic on job numbers hint that some people might permanently participate less in the economy.
The Paycheck Protection Program was introduced by the Coronavirus Aid, Relief and Economic Security Act, also known as the CARES Act. President Donald Trump introduced this program on 27 of March 2020. Small business profit from these programs since it offers funding to cover up to 8 weeks of employee wages and benefits. They can also use the money to cover other expenses like rent, electricity, and interest on your loan. The Paycheck Protection Programs provides up to $6,059 billion to assist with certain expenses and job maintenance for millions of Americans who work for a small business.
However, the PPP did a poor job of concentrating on the appropriate issues. Merely approximately 25% of the PPP funds were genuinely allocated towards preserving jobs that would have otherwise been lost. Furthermore, rather than being distributed equally among all those who qualified for assistance, the benefits primarily benefit wealthier families. The PPP benefit a lot of small businesses throughout the pandemic. Despite certain issues, it allowed them to continue and retain their employees.
Deploying the monetary policy toolkit. The first thing is interest rate. The Federal Open Market Committee FOMC reduced the federal funds rate target range by a total of 1.5 percentage points at two unscheduled meetings on March 3rd and March 15, 2020, bringing it to the effective lower bound target range of 0 to 1/4% in the light of the expected effects of COVID-19 on economic activities and on risk to the outlook. The committee also issued forward guidance in the statement that accompanied the meeting on March 15 and stated that it planned to stick with the target range until it was certain that the economy had recovered from the recent shocks and was on course to reach its objectives for maximum employment and price stability. At the same time, the committee stated that it would persist in observing effects of newly received data on the economic prognosis, encompassing public health data, worldwide advancement, and reduce inflationary pressures. Additionally, it will employ its resources and take appropriate actions to support the economy.
The Federal Reserve also took steps to increase the amount of short-term funding available to primary dealers to finance their increases holdings of Treasury securities and agency MBS at a time when funding costs from other sources were sharply rising. These actions were taken to ensure that the supply of reserves remained ample and to support the smooth operation of the critical funding markets. Specifically, the Federal Reserve Bank of New Year's open market thus expanded the scope of its overnight and term repo operation on March 9, 2020 in response to a FOMC directive. The thus then added a second daily overnight repo operation, raised the amount available in each operation, and created new weekly repeating 1 and 3 month terms repo operations.
As previously indicated, the FOMC also implemented forward guidance beginning with the meeting on March 15, 2020, in effort to mitigate the pandemic's devastating consequences. The committee offered unprecedented outcome-based forward guidance in the September 2020 FOMC statement. It stated that its policy would strive to achieve inflation outcomes that maintain inflation expectation firmly anchored at the 2% longer run goal, given that inflation has been consistently running below 2%. In doing so, the committee states that anticipates continuing to pursue an accommodative monetary policy posture until these results, along with the goal maximum employment, are realized. The committee specifically said that until labour market conditions reach levels consistent with the committee's assessments of maximum employment, until inflation has reached 2%, and until inflation is on track to moderately exceed 2% for some time, it will be appropriate to maintain the current 0 to 1/4% target range for the federal funds rate.
So next, let us move to easing in monetary policy. First of all, monetary policy have easing in federal funds rate, which at its meeting on 3rd March and 15 March 2020, the Federal Reserve lowered its target for the federal funds rate, which is the amount banks pay to borrow from one another overnight, by a total of 1.5 percentage points. The funding rate was reduced by these changes to a range of 0% to 0.25%. This action was taken to promote spending by lowering the cost of borrowing for individuals and business. The federal funds rate served as a benchmark for other short-term and influence longer-term rates.
Resuming its huge debt securities purchases was one of the Fed's primary strategies throughout the Great Recession. The Federal Reserve (FED) initial response to the severe disruption of the Treasury and mortgage-backed securities markets following the COVID-19 pandemic was to get these markets back to normal. As benchmarks and sources of liquidity, these markets are vital to the flow of credit to the overall economy. After the economy shows substantial further progress towards the Fed's objectives of maximum employment and price stability, the Fed revised its guidance in December 2020 to suggest that it would reduce these purchases. Following its assessment in November 2021 that the criteria had been satisfied, the Fed started to reduce the amount of assets it was buying by $10 billion in treasuries and $5 billion in MBS per month. In December 2021, the Fed doubled down on tapering, cutting monthly bond purchases by $20 billion in treasury securities and $10 billion in mortgage-backed securities.
The Money Market Mutual Fund Liquidity Facility (MMLF), which was established during the financial crisis, was also reopened by the Federal Reserve. Banks were given access to this facility as collateral for loans that they bought from prime money market funds, which did incorporate commercial paper and treasury securities. When COVID-19 first emerged, a large number of investors left prime money market funds because they doubted the worth of the private assets these funds held. In an attempt to offset this withdrawal, funds tried to sell their securities, but even high quality, shorter maturity securities were hard to come by due to market disruptions. Treasury granted the Fed permission to manage the program by using Section 33 and providing $10 billion from the Exchange Stabilization Fund to offset any potential losses. Due to little use, the MMLF ran out on March 31, 2021.
In conclusion, a combination of expansionary fiscal and monetary policies can be effective in reducing unemployment by increasing demand, encouraging investment, and creating more opportunities for job seekers. However, the effectiveness of this policy also depends on various economic factors and specific conditions of the time of implementation.